Hi, it's Mrs. Ferris with my friend Bernard for our very last bedtime stories for 2021. And we think we've picked some good books, don't we? We did. So let's get started with our first one. This is called Polar Bear Island. It's written by Lindsay, Bonilla and illustrated by Sandra Lobos. And this book is published by Sterling Children's Books. Now, I see a penguin. And on the cover, I saw a polar bear. I don't know if they live near each other, but let's find out. Polar Bear Island was peaceful and predictable. Parker, the mayor, planned to keep it that way. There was a sign that read, "Welcome to Polar Bear Island. No others allowed." But Kirby waddled where the wind blew, and today she was floating toward paradise. "Didn't you read the sign?" asked Parker. "Get out." "Oh, I've had such a long journey," said Kirby. "Please, let me stay for the night." "One night, no more," said Parker as he stomped away. Well, Kirby opened her suitcase, and some curious polar bears peeked out of their dens. "What are you doing?" they asked. "Oh, I'm looking for my flipper slippers," said Kirby. "They keep your flippers and feet warm. Plus, they're reversible. So with one side, you can skate on the ice, and with the other, you can walk through the snow." "Ooh," said the bears. "Do they work on paws? I want a pair." "Me too." Well, Kirby was excited to share her invention with her new friends, and the bears loved learning to make flipper slippers of their own, and they couldn't wait to try them out. But their laughter woke up Parker. Do you see his shadow down here? Does he look angry? "What are those things on your paws?" he growled. "Flipper slippers," said the bears. "They're toasty warm and tons of fun. Try some." Parker shook his head. "Polar bears have paws, not flippers. I knew something like this would happen. Start packing, penguin." But the polar bears protested. "Oh, she can't go now. She's still helping me with my slippers. And mine." "This could take a while," said Kirby. "Oh, let her stay," begged the bears. "Fine, one penguin, but no more." Kirby flapped her flippers with glee, and she sent a letter to her family telling them about her adventures, which is exactly why they came to visit. Parker was not happy. "Didn't you read the sign?" he asked. Now it said, "Welcome to Polar Bear Island, one penguin, and no others allowed." "Get out," he said. "Oh, wait," said Kirby. "This is my family." "We've had a long journey," said the penguins. "Oh, please, let us stay." Parker raised a claw. "1 week, no more," and he stomped away. Kirby's family opened their suitcases. Her friends peeked out of their dens. "What are you doing?" they asked. "Well, I'm making my sled bed," said Kirby's brother. "I'm whipping up a batch of snow cones for snack time," said Kirby's sister. "And I'm shoveling paths for snowshoots," said Kirby's cousins. Well, soon the bears were slurping snow cones, swooshing down snowshoots, and sleep sliding in their sled beds. All the bears except "You penguins are taking over the island," Parker shouted. "Pack your bags, hop on your ice floe, and whoa!" Oh, Parker slipped on some ice and crashed. "Ow," he cried. "I can't move my legs." The polar bears shook their heads. "This would never have happened if you'd been wearing flipper slippers." Kirby and her friends leaped into action. They rolled Parker onto one of the sled beds and shoveled a snowshoe all the way to his den. They pushed his paws into flipper slippers and stuffed him with sugary snow cones. Wow, thought Parker, this sled bed's so snuggly. My paws feel so toasty, and these snow cones are scrumptious. In 1 week, Parker was back on his paws again. The penguins started packing. They knew their time on Polar Bear Island was up. What's going on here? Asked Parker. Didn't you read the sign? The penguins nodded. Yes, that's why we're leaving. Maybe you better read it again, he said, and Parker pointed to the freshly painted sign. It now read, Welcome to Polar Bear Island. It's crossed off the no. Others allowed. I was wrong, he said. You penguins weren't taking over our island. You were making it a much better place. Please stay. So they did. Penguin and Polar Bear Island became a wonderful place to live for everyone. I think I'd like to try one of those sled beds. It looked pretty comfy. Well, let's have polar bears jumping on our beds. Not sled beds, but regular beds. Can you get your bed ready? And get your polar bears big and full of jumps? There were 5 big polar bears jumping on the bed. When one fell off, well, he bumped his head. So his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more polar bears jumping on the bed, so hide one away. So 4 great big polar bears were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. Well, his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more polar bears jumping on the bed. So 3 great big polar bears were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more polar bears jumping on the bed. So 2 great big polar bears were jumping on the bed. One fell off and bumped his head. So Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more polar bears jumping on the bed. So that left 1 great big polar bear jumping on the bed. When he fell off, oh, he bumped his head. But his mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more polar bears jumping on the bed. Well, what's our next story? Oh, this sounds a little familiar. It's about a little girl in a red hood. But the title is just a little different than I've always known it. This is called Very Little Red Riding Hood. This is written and illustrated by Heapy and Heap, and it's published. Well, let's get first names in there too. Teresa Heapy and Sue Heap, and it's published by Houghton, Mifflin, Harcourt. And there she is. She's very little. Very Little Red Riding Hood was going to her grandma's for a sleepover. I go see Grandma with cakes, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. She is kind of little, don't you think? Yes, my love, I know, said her mommy. Off you go. Be gentle with Grandma and don't break anything. Bye-bye, my mommy, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. So, Very Little Red Riding Hood set off for Grandma's house. She hadn't gone very far when she met a wolf. A foxy, said Very Little Red Riding Hood, and she gave him a big hug. Aren't you scared? Asked the wolf. I'm not scared. I'm Very Little Red Riding Hood. That's what I am, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. I go see Grandma with cakes, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, good, said the wolf. Can I have one? No, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. No touch my cakes. Well, the wolf tried again. Can I come too? No, shouted Very Little Red Riding Hood. Go away. The wolf tried once more. Look at these lovely flowers, he said. We could pick some for your grandma. No, screamed Very Little Red Riding Hood. Not yellow, flowers red. So they picked some red flowers. Come on, Foxy, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. We go this way. Chase me. So the wolf had to chase Very Little Red Riding Hood all the way to Grandma's house. Very Little Red Riding Hood knocked on Grandma's door. I come see you, Grandma. Look, cakes, she said. Well, it's lovely to see you, dear, said Grandma. And then, help! There's a wolf at the doorstep. I come for a sleepover, said Very Little Red Riding Hood firmly. I got my bag and Red Teddy and my cups and my blanket. Foxy, do you want a cup of tea? He can't come in, said Grandma. Oh, Grandma, it's only Foxy, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. So the wolf came in and took a cup of tea from Very Little Red Riding Hood. In fact, they all had a cup of tea. And then they played hide and seek, and they did dancing, and they did drawing, and then they had another cup of tea, and another. The wolf and Grandma were getting quite tired, but then Very Little Red Riding Hood remembered something, or somebody. I don't know where my mommy is, said Very Little Red Riding Hood. I want my mommy. Very Little Red Riding Hood was very upset. Grandma tried a story. She tried a hug. She tried Red Teddy. Mr. Wolf, she said, we're in trouble. Can you help? So the wolf tried. Oh, what big wet eyes you have, he said. Oh, what a big snotty nose you have, he said. And then, oh, what a big red mouth you have, said the wolf. And I'm going to give you a great big tickle. And so the wolf tickled Very Little Red Riding Hood. He tickled her arms and her ribs and her toes. He tickled her chin and her ears and her nose. And Very Little Red Riding Hood stopped crying. She laughed. She laughed and laughed and laughed. And then she fell asleep. And you know, they all slept happily ever after. I like that one. All right, well, I think we could, would you like to cook hot dogs or shake your sillies? I'm not sure how silly you're feeling tonight. So let's cook our hot dogs. I've got 5 little hot dogs that are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 4 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 3 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. 2 little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and one went bam. So 1 little hot dog is cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the one went bam. So that means no little hot dogs are cooking in the pan. The grease got hot and the pan went bam. Well, I know this is a week off from school, so those of you who are old enough to go to school, you probably aren't having to ride a bus. But there is a bus in this story, even though the title of this book is Red Truck. It's written by Kersten Hamilton with pictures by Valeria Petrone, and it's published by Viking. Now, what kind of truck is the red truck? Does anybody know? It's got a crane on the back and a hook. I guess we'll find out. Red truck is a tow truck, a work truck, not a show truck. Ring! Falling rain, melting snow, a rising creek, our bus won't go. Start up, red truck. Can red truck make it up the hill? Red truck can, red truck will. Vroom. Zoom. Must have good tires. Other trucks can't cross the mud. Red truck cried. Red truck could. Sploosh. Slipping, sliding down the slope. Red truck is our only hope. Oh, look at that. They got all the children off of the bus, but the bus is slip sliding. Hurry, red truck. Hooks are on. Chains are tight. Pull, red truck, with all your might. Pull. Downshift. Pedal floored. Tires spin. Red truck roar. Vroom. Splishy, splashy, wet hooray. Our hero for a rainy day is Red Truck. And that's Red Truck. Well, do you think you could grab a hold of the steering wheel? And we're going to drive in our car. Right, so you got it? Driving in my car, driving in my car, driving all the way to Minneapolis in my car. Red light. What does that mean? Stop. I think we need the wipers. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 swish. Swish, 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 swish. Red light. What does that mean? Stop. What else can we do? What else does a car do? I guess we'll just drive it a little more. Driving in my car, driving in my car, driving all the way to Minneapolis in my car. Red light, that means stop. It also means time for another story. This one is called The Dog Who Cried Wolf. It's written by Kasza, illustrated by Kasza too, I believe, and published by Puffin Books. Mocha was a good dog. You want to see him up close? He and Michelle loved to be together. Life was perfect until one day she read a book about wolves. Look, Mocha, said Michelle, you're kind of like a wolf. Wow, thought Mocha, I am kind of like a wolf, but look how amazing wolves are. They run around free, and they hunt wild animals, and they stay up late to howl at the moon. And look at the way I live, Mocha sighed. I'm nothing but a house pet. I go for a walk on a leash. I eat dog food. And when I try to howl at the moon, they tell me to shh. He felt like a failure, especially when Michelle made him dress up for her tea parties. Oh, he wanted to be a wolf. Well, the next day, Mocha made up his mind. He snuck out of the house and took off for the mountains. He ran and ran and ran until he finally reached the high mountaintop. "I'm free," he yelped. "Free as a wolf." So do you know what he did? He ran. He jumped. He danced. He peed wherever he wanted. "Wow," he exclaimed, "the world is mine." Well, soon Mocha got hungry. "No problem," he cried. "I'll hunt for my food just like the wolves do." And off he went. But Rabbit outran him, and Skunk sprayed him. A beetle pinched him, and even a field mouse made fun of him. By nightfall, Mocha was miserable. He missed Michelle. "I even miss her tea parties," he mumbled. "But I can't give up yet. There's just one more thing I have to try." So he gazed at the golden moon, and he howled as loudly as he could. "Ow!" Can you howl like a wolf? Let's do it together. "Ow!" And suddenly, something howled back. "Ow! Ow!" And then again, "Ow!" Mocha froze. "Wolves!" he cried. "Real wolves!" Well, he turned and raced down the mountain. "I want to go home," he panted. "I never want to be a wolf again." And he ran and ran and ran until finally he reached the house he knew so well. "Mocha!" Michelle shouted as she dashed out to meet him. Oh, look, she'd made a sign that he was missing. "You're back." I'm not sure who's happier. Mocha was home again, and he and Michelle were oh so happy. Life was just perfect. Until one day, she read a book about monkeys. You don't think Mocha wants to be a monkey, do you? Or maybe Michelle does. The power of books. Well, I'm pretty sure now it's time to shake our sillies, all right? Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out? Shake, shake, shake your sillies out. Shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. And can you clap, clap, clap your crazies out? Clap, clap, clap your crazies out. Clap, clap, clap your crazies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out? Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out. Stretch, stretch, stretch your stretchies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you stand up? Can you jump, jump, jump your jiggles out? Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out. Jump, jump, jump your jiggles out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you yawn? Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out, yawn. Yawn your sleepies out and wiggle your waggles away. Can you shake, shake, shake your sillies out? Shake, shake, shake your sillies out. Shake, shake, shake your sillies out and wiggle your waggles away. Well, now it's time for a book called William's Winter Nap. This is written by Linda Ashman and illustrated by Chuck Gronick. And this book is published by Disney Hyperion. Looks like a nice winter night. In a house on a hill that's tall and steep, there's a boy named William who's ready to sleep. He drinks his cocoa, climbs in bed, he fluffs the pillow beneath his head, then burrows down for a nice long nap, but wakes to the sound of a "Excuse me, but I've lost my way. I'm cold and tired. May I please stay?" Will says, "Yes, I'll scooch a bit. There's room for two. I'm sure we'll fit." So the two climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, "Good night, good night." It's quiet, just the clock's tick-tock. But wait, what's that? Oh, what a cozy, lovely place. Could you spare a smidge of space? See what is this time? Will says, "Yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for three. I'm sure we'll fit." So the three climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, "Good night, good night." It's peaceful in the sleepy room until that is the boom, boom, boom. My toes are numb. My tail is too. Okay if I come in with you? Will says, "Yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for four. I'm sure we'll fit." So the four climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, "Good night, good night." Then ping, ping, ping. Could that be rain? No, pebbles on the window pane. May I come in? I need some rest. I promise I'm a perfect guest. Will says, "Yes, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for five. I'm sure we'll fit." So the five climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, "Good night, good night." Well, the sound of snoring, soft and low, crunch, some footsteps in the snow. A note slipped beneath the door. "Do you have room for just one more?" "I'd rather not. Too squished, no space. There's got to be some other place. We don't have room, too hard to fit. No way, we can't consider it." Will says, "If it's someone small, it might not be so hard at all." He tugs the door to see who's there. Uh-oh. Oh my. What now? A bear. "I saw your light on through the trees. I'm lonely. May I join you, please?" What do you think he's going to say? Bear shivers in the falling snow. Oh, I see. No room. That's fine. I'll go. It's awfully cold. The snow, the ice. He'd keep us warm. He seemed quite nice. So they all say, wait, we'll scooch a bit. There's room for 6. Somehow we'll fit. So the 6 climb in and curl up tight. They yawn and say, good night. Good night. They don't look very comfortable, do they? But when you're tired, sweet dream, my friend, says Will. Sleep tight. I'll see you in the warm spring light. Oh my goodness. Do you think they're all going to hibernate with William? Well, you better reach in your pocket because it's definitely time to get out your bubble gum. Unwrap it, throw the wrapper in the trash, pop the gum in your mouth and chew it up until it's all soft and squishy. Are you ready? Let's go. Is it ready? Okay, put your hand out. I'll count to 3 and we'll do that disgusting thing we always do. We're going to spit our gum right into our hand. 1, 2, 3. And clap your other hand on top. And we've got sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your arm. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your cheek. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your back. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your chin. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your knee. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your nose. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on mom or dad or any other big adult who's around. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, stick it on your toe. On stick. Sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum, sticky, sticky bubble gum. Time to throw it in the trash. All right, let's get our flannel board out. All right. Well, this is called Klippity Klop. Well, Prince Crispin, I'm going to put it down just a little bit because I'm thinking it does some strange things with the light here. This is Prince Crispin. Now, Prince Crispin and his horse Dumpling, let's put them up just a bit so you can see them, went out for a ride. They came to a bridge and rode over it. And it went clip, clop, clippity clop. Then they rode through a stream. Kersplash, 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 kersplash. And then they rode through some tall grass. Quish, quash, quishity squash. They came to a gravelly hill and they rode down it. Crunch, 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 crunch. They came to a rocky hill and they rode up it. Click, clack, click, clack. They came to a cave and looked in it. Let's move it over just a little bit. Yes? Did you hear me? They looked in it. Well, a dragon lived in that cave, and a dragon stuck his head out and he roared, "Rah!" And Dumpling didn't have to be asked twice. Dumpling turned around and ran back down that rocky hill. Do you remember what the sound was for that one? Huh? Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. And then he rode up the gravelly hill. Crunch, 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 crunch. He rode through the grasses. Quish, quash, quish, quash, quish, quash. He rode through the water. Kersplish, kersplash, kersplish, kersplash. He rode across the bridge. Clump, clumpity, clump, clumpity. He rode all the way back to the castle. Clip, clop, clippity, clop. And you know what? He decided he should go inside, slam the door, and never go on an adventure again, because adventuring is a fine thing, but being safe at home is the best thing of all. That's from a book by Ed Emberley. Well, time to finish up with our going to bed story. This is called Good Night by Sandra Boynton, published by Workman. Get myself in a spot where you can see all the pictures. Well, the sun has set not long ago. Now everybody goes below to take a bath in one big tub with soap all over. Scrub, scrub, scrub. They hang their towels on the wall and find pajamas, big and small. And with some on top and some beneath, they brush and brush and brush their teeth. And when the moon is on the rise, they all go up to exercise. Bernard's doing some push-ups. And then down once more, but not so fast. They're on their way to bed at last. They climb into their feather bed. Some at the foot and some at the head. And two little rabbits sing a song while everybody hums along. The day is done. They say good night, and somebody turns off the light. The moon is high, the sea is deep, and they rock and rock and rock to sleep. Well, thank you for joining me and my pal Bernard for some stories. And we'll be back next Wednesday with some more, right? Right. See you then, maybe.